Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander in the SEL trim level. Now this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. This vehicle is sitting on 255/45 Toyo tires wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Moonstone Gray, and man, does it look good. Really impressive color. Sun's kind of behind the clouds right now, but hopefully you'll be able to tell throughout the video. But yeah, we've got a lot of like mirror chrome going on here in the front, especially right in here. So you got the mirror chrome going on there, and then you have the chrome Outlander name, badge, and accents there as well. Gloss black grille, and then there is a camera integrated here right above the radar adaptive cruise control sensor. Parking sensors here as well. And then there's like a silver or lighter gray down there at the bottom. Pretty interesting design. Now the headlights are a multi-reflector system. So you can see there's two tiers. So there's like four of them that turn on for your low beams, and then additional two here at the bottom turn on for the high beams. Then the fog lights are just below there in a little projector. These are all LEDs. So yeah, the fog lights probably should be a little bit lower than that. It's not much difference between the headlights and the fog lights. So looking at the profile, it looks pretty good with those wheels. And that color, man, I love that color. And it's body colored handles, upper portion of the side mirrors body colored, and then you have the gloss black pillars that kind of solidify that glass. And then we have more chrome going on, just kind of like hockey sticking its way underneath the windows there. But yeah, pretty cool. The doors go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, sealing up basically this threshold area. Now it has like a little rubber seal. You can't see it hardly, but it's under there to kind of seal this whole threshold area up when the door's shut. Nice. Now the inside of the door has this diamond pattern. This is all a soft touch surface. You have a hard touch surface over here and down here. This is a simulated carbon fiber material, plastic. And then this handle can be used as a pocket. It does have a little rubber piece at the bottom. This larger pocket at the bottom is just hard plastic so things can slide around. Really liking these speaker grills. These Yamaha speaker grills, like a diamond cut aluminum cover there, looking nice. Now it has a basic electric seat, power seat here. You can't go up and down. You can just tilt the back to go forward and back here. And these are heated seats, heated and ventilated seats. Looking nice with this diamond pattern here. They feel good. They're a leather material. And they're pretty comfortable. I like them. Plenty of legroom here in the front. Just mostly wide open. Hard touch surface here with a non-locking glove compartment. Pretty standard size with smooth plastic on the inside. And then we have a soft touch dash here, like a rubbery soft non-reflective dash there. See, I like that brown and black combo, looking good. The door openings are great. I mean, you're able to get in and out, no problem. The seat height is perfect off the ground. I can just hop right in and out. All that's good. The swing of the door is looking good. Same thing here in the back. The swing of the door really helps out. Even though there's a little bit smaller area here on the bottom, you still have lots of headroom there to get in and out. And the swing of the door is nice to help you get into the second row. Third row is, you know, we'll see how easy it is to get back there. Here's the inside of the rear door, and it has a shade privacy glass. And we have this diamond pattern here. This is all soft touch material here. Hard touch surfaces are here at the bottom. Then there's a simulated carbon fiber look around the window switch. And check out these Yamaha speaker grills. Those are looking really nice. This handle can be used as a pocket. It has a little rubber floor on the bottom. And then the pocket here on the bottom is larger, and it is all hard touch on the inside. So things slide around potentially. So this back seat, it folds down in a 60-40 split fashion, but that center armrest is basically the center of the seat. So, you know, if you need to use it, you can. Otherwise, it's kind of bulky and gets in the way. But yeah, it's basically a bench seat at this point. It does have the latch system for car seats here on the outer seats only. But yeah, looking pretty good. These are heated seats, 3-stage heated seats. They have that diamond quilted pattern there. Pockets on the back of both front seats. You also have pockets up here as well, here and here. So you have the pockets at the top here, and then you have the larger pocket. Pretty cool. Pretty good amount of legroom here. Hump in the middle though. And there's some adjustments to the climate control. And then you have the heated seat controls, and then USB ports are below that. This one has a panoramic sunroof, pretty cool. This vehicle has a third row, and I guess in a pinch, you can use it. So let's go ahead and move the seat forward. There we go. And we can kind of figure out a way to get through there to get to the third row. And you can see the legroom's kind of limited when these seats are in place, if they're pulled back all the way anyway. But it does have a third row, and it does not have car seat attachments in the third row. I know what you're thinking. I'll just put a car seat back there. Well, there's no car seat attachments back here. But yeah, a little storage compartment there, cup holder. But yeah, you can decide what you're gonna do with the third row. Of course, it does fold down and everything as well. Looking at the back of the vehicle, you can see this one has the black roof, has the black shark fin antenna up there, and then it has these like silver roof rails as well. Third brake light is here in the rear spoiler. Rear wiper is just in that kind of standard position, but it does wipe across the camera right here. Right in here is the rear view camera. Instead of a rear view mirror, which it does still have, it has a rear view camera. And when you turn on the rear wiper, it wipes past that and keeps it clean. That's excellent. When it's raining or mist or anything, or condensation, anything like that builds up, you can easily just wipe past it and keep it clean. Instead of, some vehicles have like a little squirter that squirts water on it, which if you have water on it already, then sometimes that doesn't really solve the problem. I like the way it has super all-wheel drive control here. All right, so back here, the backup camera is in this way offset position, way over here. So yeah, that's I don't know. It doesn't stand out that much as far as like, it's small, so it tucks in nicely, but it's not in the center, so it's not the most ideal place for a backup camera. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to have it offset like that. The rear view camera is in the middle. It's in that perfect position, really. But this one could be in a better position. Maybe in the future, they'll go ahead and fix that. Parking sensors back here, and then we have more of that kind of like light gray accent. The exhaust is fairly well hidden. Opening up the power liftgate, you can of course use the key, or you can push the button under here. If you have all the seats occupied with passengers, then this is the cargo space. And you see it's a little bit limited here. There's a little cubby hole on this side, 12-volt power supply. You do have a bag holder here. Tie downs. There is a subwoofer, the Yamaha sound system. Sounds pretty good. There's a single light here on the left side. Now there's an additional light under here, which helps out, but still doesn't look very adequate. Now there is some subfloor storage here, and you can put the shade. There's a shade that comes with this vehicle, this particular one. And so if you fold the third row seat down, you can put the shade in place. Otherwise, you can store it in here. Now, in order to fold these third row seats, you have to take these big rabbit ear headrests out and store them somewhere. And then that way you can fold down the third row. I'll put the headrests in here. And what we're gonna do is just basically fold these down using this release. Here and here. Okay, so now we have a very substantial cargo space. So this solves a huge problem as far as cargo space. Now it's a 50-50 split, so we can add to the cargo space while folding one seat down while maintaining passenger space on the other side. So if we want to do that, we can. You can see the cup holder and stuff here. Little pocket. Now, this lifts up. Then you have this compartment. This comes out, okay? So let's go ahead and set this down. because there's an additional space here, under here. It requires 2 hands, apparently, to do this. So let me set the camera down. Lifting that up requires you to fold down the second row now in order to access this additional place. So let me go ahead and do that. I didn't have to fold them down, I just had to move them forward. I think that'll work. So let's try this again. So I'm pulling both these straps at the same time, here and there. I release it, it lifts up and it holds itself up and it goes up to about right there. That's as high as it goes. Now we can access this additional space here. We had access to this little part, but this is where the tire inflator kit is. There's no spare tire in this vehicle. So in order to access that, you will need to do this whole procedure in order to lift this up to get to it. But in general, you have the access to this, and then you have this on top of it, which is fairly easy to take out. But there's some layers of procedure here in order to access the tire inflator kit. The third row is a 50-50 split, so you can fold that down. Then the second row is a 60-40 split, but you can also fold down the center part as well, separately, independently. So you can have different ways of folding seats down, adding to your cargo space. So pretty versatile as far as that goes. You also have the ability to fold flat the second row from this position. So I can pull that and it folds that seat flat. And the same thing on the left side as well. Here's the shade, and let's retract it back. And you'll notice that the shade doesn't go all the way back here. It just goes like in that kind of arbitrary middle position. And then it has these little flaps here that you can, I guess, Velcro back here, fill in that space. Yeah, you can just kind of like Velcro it back there, I guess, to cover it up. So, as far as a cover, that's what they give you. The shade does not fit in this lower portion. Apparently, because it has that Yamaha system maybe, there's room here on the right side, and there's actually, it looks like a place for it to go here and there. It just won't fit because there's not enough room here on the left side. All right, so there's this other spot here that you can put it, and as long as you have this closed, which I don't, I guess that's their secondary spot to just kind of store it. But it takes up your cargo space, which is already limited if you have the passengers there. So yeah, I would probably just leave the shade out. Another thing I need to mention about this cargo area is get a cargo mat to go back here, because this material is so slippery that when you're driving, just the slightest turn left or right, your stuff goes flying left and right. I mean, it's super slippery. So if you have a rubber mat to put back here, it'll kind of help keep things from sliding around so much. Yeah, it's a big deal, especially getting groceries. Like literally your milk's gonna be hammering and smashing your eggs every time you take it, even the subtle turn. It's crazy. The fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it locks with the vehicle. And it's a capless design. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat, and it's got those sporty pedals, looking nice. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, right here in the very center, there's a latch right underneath that A. Move it to the left and lift up. Kind of heavy hood, but it does require a prop to hold it up. The prop is under here, and it swings down, and just put it right here. There's some insulation under the hood, and also the hood is sealed up here across the front. It's fairly quiet, so there's not and there's a little bit of wind noise, but they have it sealed up pretty good. You can see the firewall is insulated. You also have some heat shielding back there, because that's where the exhaust is as well, which is not bad, putting the exhaust back here. Having the intake here in the front and the exhaust at the back, that's a pretty good way to put a front-wheel drive oriented vehicle. So the engine is oriented this way, even though it's all-wheel drive, it's front-wheel drive oriented. And then the transmission is located back here, but this is these are the different coil packs. Underneath those will be the spark plugs, so it's lined up this way. The battery is easy to get to here. This is powered by a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, putting out 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. So 181, 181. Now It is an all-wheel drive. They call it super all-wheel drive system. And it is paired to a CVT, and they call it an 8-speed sport mode CVT. So it simulates gear shifts. And yeah, not really a big fan of that. It's not a fast vehicle anyway, so the whole sport mode thing is not really a big deal in this vehicle anyway. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. It does have the blind spot detection system and the little indicators, that little triangle there in the side mirror. But yeah, the power windows are all one touch up and down, so just one touch press. It is a laminated glass here in the front. One touch up, rear glass, one touch down, and it's a non-laminated glass, and it does not go all the way down. It's as far down as it goes. Side mirrors are adjusted here. It does have a power fold switch. You can power fold them in and power fold them out, of course. 2 presets for the power seat. And then the driver's seat is a little bit different from the passenger seat because it does have the 2-way lumbar adjustment. It also has the ability to raise it and lower it, unlike the passenger side. But yeah, pretty decent seats. Once again, heated and ventilated seats. Here to the left of the steering column, there is the ability to turn on the HUD here, heads-up display. Dimmer switch for the interior gauges is here, and then the ability to open up the power lift gate, and then you have a tilt and telescoping steering column here as well. In the driver's seat, I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. And basically, at 6 feet tall, no problem driving the vehicle. If you're maybe a little bit more than 6 feet tall, it's probably not a big deal. Overall, there's a decent amount of legroom. The only issue I have is this footrest right here. It just doesn't go up high enough. It just kind of like tapers away. So like I have to put my foot to the left of it because right up here, there's just not enough room. So, and of course, like size 13 shoe, but still, you know, like it's just a little bit, not all that perfectly comfortable. It could be a little bit better, I would say. The steering wheel is really nice. It has the perforations here, or little dimples really, and it's a leather wrap stitching on the inside. The stitching is nice and smooth. It doesn't stick out, doesn't bother me at all, and just a good thickness. It looks good, it feels good. Overall, the steering wheel is good, but it does have the paddle shifters on the back, which it's a CVT, okay? So it doesn't have gear ratios anyway, but it simulates gear ratios. So if you want to have control of the speed ratio, you can do that if you need to. Now, the buttons for the cruise controller here on the right side, you just have to turn it on. You can set, resume, and cancel. And then you have a single button for the phone, so you can answer calls and hang up with the same button. You also have a voice recognition and the ability to set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you using the adaptive cruise control here. Here on the left side is the volume for the radio change to the tracks. Then you have this little scroll wheel, arrows, OK, and then this pages button. We'll get to that in a second. That corresponds with the gauge cluster. Windshield wipers are here. It does have an automatic rain sensing system as well. Here to the left is the turn signal. It also has the headlight switch and fog lights. So there's your fog lights, and then there's the headlights here. Automatic works fine. That's usually where I would keep it. It also has the automatic high beams. You just press this button here on the end right there. So you can toggle that on or off depending on what you need. Okay, so the gauge cluster has different views, but this is the first view. And you have a tachometer, engine coolant temperature, the fuel gauge, speedometer, digital speedometer, outside temperature, digital clock, what gear you're in, all that stuff, distance to empty. But yeah, you have this button right here. Let's go ahead and press that. And then it pops up this menu, and we can change the meter view here, and it changes it to this view here. So if you want a little bit different look, you can do that. We'll go ahead and change it back to that. It has like a little animation thing going on. Okay, so if we scroll to the left and right, you can see it's part of a menu system. And you can see the little icons here at the top, and you can rest on the one that you want. Now, some of them you can scroll up and down to get different views. So we have different information there that we can reset those trips. This is vehicle information, tire pressure. You also have the status of the all-wheel drive system, which will give you the power going to each wheel, and it's kind of like give you a little visualization there. It's kind of cool. Scrolling to the right again will be the navigation. Actually, it gives you turn-by-turn directions both on this screen, heads-up display, and of course the navigation map on the touch screen. Scrolling to the right again will be whatever your radio is doing. Right again will be the status of your lane keep assist system, adaptive cruise control, and your blind spot detection system. I'll give you a little bit of information here, which is helpful sometimes. Then your settings are here, and you can go in here and set up what you want. Going to the left is back out of that. Now we go back to home. We'll just leave it there, I guess. All right, now the touchscreen over here. Now there's a lot of Nissan in this vehicle, okay? So this is Nissan and Mitsubishi work together. So a lot of the stuff will be very Nissan. If you're familiar with Nissan, you'll be familiar with the features in this vehicle. Okay, so there's different icons here on the left. You have the navigation map here. That's the home screen here. Whatever your radio is doing here. And then it does have the satellite radio and AM, FM, that kind of stuff. We'll show you different sources here. Yeah, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, satellite radio, AM, FM, and then you have USB ports as well. Now it does have a, they actually sent it with a Yamaha USB-C card there. So let's see what that sounds like.
Hello and welcome to the Mitsubishi Motors Yamaha Ultimate Experience. My name is...
Okay, so I guess it has like a whole thing explaining it, but it does sound good. The radio does sound good, and I like the way they include that so you can kind of test out the sound, and Yamaha, of course, has different musical instruments and stuff, so kind of makes sense. Pretty neat. So down here, of course, you have your phone, and then you have these different apps here in which you can set up the way you want to set up and get different information. Even has travel link, that's nice. All right, we have some buttons here to access the volume for the radio, change to the tracks. You have day and night mode. You also have the ability to turn on the camera, even when you're not in gear, which is nice. This is showing the front view right now and then the top down view. And once again, it's very Nissan looking. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see the backup view while we're at it. So yeah, it has the active guidelines and the view from the top down and everything. So yeah, it's pretty good. And if there's anything around you, the parking sensors, you know, beep at you and let you know if there's any motion around you. It's pretty cool. All right, so down here, we've got the four-way flashers there. There's the climate control, heated and cooled seats. It's 3-stage, heated and 3-stage cooled. Driver and passenger temperature, which you can sync. Fan speed, you can control the rear and the front if you like separately. So it's just like a tri-zone system. You can also turn on the windshield wiper heater. So that's nice. Like you can defrost the windshield wipers if they're frozen, but you know, just in general, warming them up so they work better when they're cold. It's nice. 12-volt power supply, and it has the USB ports here, USB-C. It does have a wireless charger here. It's a little bit of a issue getting the phone. You kind of have to like cram it in there, especially with my large case, but it does charge every single time so far. And let me take the phone out so you can see this area. And it has like this mat that's just kind of laying in there. So I would probably just leave this out. It doesn't make any sense to me. This area is already rubberized, and it, you know, it just seems to be fine without it. So not this, I don't know. I mean, this little mat hasn't really caused a problem, but I don't know. It just seems like it would, I don't know. It's just some additional thing to get in the way. But yeah, when I put my phone there, it charges every single time, and I have a little status light. Cool. There's the cup holders here. And here's the shifter. Once again, Nissan type shifter. There's the park button. This is an electronic shifter. You press here on the side button here, push forward to go reverse. Parking sensors will be active. And of course the camera will pop up. Pull it back and hold it gently, and it'll go into neutral. And then pull it all the way down to drive. You also have pulling it down again will go into manual mode, which will allow you to use the paddle shifters. So if you want to go back into drive, you pull it back down again. So it just toggles right here. All right, put it in park. Okay, so here's your different drive modes. So you have Eco, and it shows here on the screen. A pretty cool little screen thing going on. There's normal, and then there is the tarmac, gravel, snow, and mud. So you're probably wondering what tarmac is. That's like the sport mode. But yeah, normal. I mean, it's not a huge difference. I mean, the only difference you would have would be if you're doing any kind of like slippery surfaces, that kind of thing. So, you know, the snow mode and stuff like that would be good. But as far as like sport mode or anything, it's not, I mean, it's not a fast vehicle, right? So it's, you know, just take that into consideration. It's not a huge difference. Here's the electronic parking brake, and it engages the rear wheels, and does have a status light as well. And hold the brake and push it down to release it. It does have an auto hold function here. The armrest is okay. It's actually fairly soft, not bad. I don't know if it's big enough to share with the passenger, but it has one. This lifts up, and it kind of, it's one of those type that slap back down on you. It doesn't stay up until you lift it all the way back like so. And then it has a place for wires to go in and out of this compartment here and here. Get my stuff out of the way. Got my business cards in there. Okay, so there's a little compartment here, and then it has a USB-C charge port there as well. But yeah, not bad. I would probably take this felt lining out and cut out a white one or a lighter color so you can kind of reflect a little light back, so make it easier to see in there. So the rearview mirror is also a rearview camera. So we can use the rearview mirror if we want. But I personally like the rearview camera. It's dimming right now. Both the the mirror and the camera will auto dim at night, and it basically have the shade over the light sensor, so it's blocking the light. Let's kind of, there we go. Brighten it up a little bit. Now you can adjust the brightness and stuff here on the right side. It has a little menu that you can go through and adjust it if you want. It also has a HomeLink garage door opener control here on the left side. And up here, there is a place to put your shades, sunglasses. And there is individual tap lights here, here. Turn on all the interior lights here. And there is the shade, and there is the sunroof buttons. We'll get to that in a minute. These visors, the headliner is a cloth, but the visor is a vinyl, which is good. The vinyl, having a vinyl visor, you're touching that, especially if you know, women with makeup and stuff, or if you just have dirty hands, the vinyl is so much easier to clean than cloth. So having that vinyl is nice. It has a little clip there. It has a mirror with a light, turns on automatically. It also slides out almost all the way, not quite. But yeah, pretty good coverage. It's pretty large this way. It does a good job of covering on, you know, in front of you for sure. Okay, so this has the panoramic sunroof, huge fixed glass there in the back, and then this is the one that moves, and it has a shade as well, and I'll show you that in a second. But let's go ahead and move the front one here, move it down, slide it back. We'll see how far back it goes. All right, press it again, it goes a little bit further back, so yeah, pretty good. All right, move that forward. Now let's try that shade. All right, here comes the shade. Now the shade is like a cloth, but it does block 100% of the light. Got to press it again to go all the way forward. It's the same thing going back. You got to press it twice to go back, press twice to go forward. But yeah, it's just like a cloth here. All right, looking at the visibility here in the back, it is not too bad until you put the third row headrest in place. Then it really blocks that rear window. But other than that, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's not spectacular, but you have the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors, great camera system. So really, it's not really a big deal driving the vehicle, but it is good to be aware of your blind spots and be ready. When you accelerate, it has a CVT transmission, but it tries to simulate gears, which I think it would be better off if it just didn't do that, because it's leaving some acceleration on the table when it's trying to, like, you know, stop and start, you know. It's not bad, but, you know, be better just overall, because it's not a fast vehicle. So it's not like it has this huge amount of horsepower to play with. When it's accelerating, it will, you know, I think it would just be better if it just held those RPMs and didn't try to simulate shifts. Because the whole point of the CVT transmission with the efficiency and the, it just has a linear acceleration instead of a stepped acceleration. So when you just re-add the stepped acceleration in there, just, I don't know, it's just a little bit contrived and taken away from what the CVT transmission is designed for, basically. But it's not a big deal. It's just one of those things that kind of stand out. It seems odd to me that they do that. Now, if it was a super faster vehicle and had a lot of power, I can maybe understand, you know, like when the Nissan Maxima did it, it just felt like it was natural. But, you know, when a lot of these CVTs like this, it just feels kind of wonky when it does that. But overall, this is a fairly comfortable vehicle. It has enough room. It feels good. I enjoy driving it for the most part. The seats are good. Don't have any problem with them. There's nothing getting in my way, and in the overall, the area in the driver's seat is nice. And, you know, it has a lane keep assist system that kind of fights with you a little bit. And it has like a little beeping noise if you get close to the lane. So, you know, I'd probably turn that kind of stuff off. But, you know, it's not bad. But, I mean, it does hold the lane fairly well. And the adaptive cruise control is nice as far as, like, you know, highway use and also keeping you at a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. It seems to do that well. It's quiet, too. It's a really quiet vehicle. I almost have no road noise, really. Just very, very light exterior noises. So it did a great job on that. You can hear the engine sometimes, but only when it's revving. Just kind of cruising like this is very quiet and peaceful. Feels like a solid vehicle, too. Very solid. With that noise dampening, it just makes it feel more of a solid. Just overall more solid. Hear a little bit of wind noise. That's about really the biggest thing that pops out right now. But yeah, I think this is a practical vehicle for, I think a lot of people would enjoy it. With Mitsubishi, though, you would, you know, take into consideration that it does have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. That was pretty interesting to see. And, you know, you just have to be near a Mitsubishi dealer in order to, you know, make that worthwhile and convenient and everything. So that's one consideration. The head-up display is actually pretty good. It's very sharp and crystal clear, and has relevant information. It has turn-by-turn directions, status of the lane keep assist system, and the adaptive cruise control. It shows you what your cruise control is set at, what the last speed limit sign was, and of course your speedometer as well. And it's nice and sharp and clear. It's pretty impressive how clear it is. It looks good, and it's useful. And it's not distracting, and that's the main thing. Some of these head-up display type systems they're just overly done, and they become a distraction, because all it is basically an additional screen. It's just overlaid over the windshield. And so if you're paying attention to that, you're not necessarily paying attention to the road, even though your head is up and not looking down, you know. Which, looking at the speedometer, your head doesn't go down, your eyes do, right? So, you know, just a brief glance, it's not a big deal. So, you know, so head-up displays, I mean, they're good, and I like them, but when they're not done well, you know, it becomes a problem instead of a solution. And in this case, I think it's fine. And another thing I like is the rear view camera. It looks good, and day or night, it's very clear. And you just gotta, you know, keep the camera clean back there, and it looks good. And one of the good things about this one is it's behind the glass, and the windshield wiper wipes in front of the lens. So that way, if you get a lot of misting and water and things on the rear glass, then you can quickly just wipe it away. Some vehicles don't have they have it to where the windshield wiper is not wiping over it. And so basically you can press a button and spray water on it, but that's not really going to solve the problem when you have water drops already on it, you know, and it blurs your vision. So, you know, having the windshield wiper swipe past the lens and it is excellent. It just clears it up crystal clear instantly. So there's nobody behind me. I'm just gonna accelerate here, see what's going on. It's not fast. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a fast vehicle, okay? And with the false stepped acceleration and all that stuff, it's like, okay, the 0 to 60 runs is not really what this vehicle's designed for. Yeah, it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just feels like it's just constantly straining when you're accelerating. It's just like it's about to just, you know, it's just, I don't know. Ideally, it would have more power, you know, but I mean, it's okay for normal driving, but just don't pull out in front of anybody and give yourself plenty of room when you're merging in the traffic and stuff like that.